Strategic, innovative, sophisticated. This is how clients, team members, and community leaders describe the Honigman Law Firm. Over its more than 70 years of history, Honigman has grown from its original office in Detroit to 7 offices in Michigan and Illinois, serving clients around the world. The firm is a community pillar, an idea center where emerging practice groups commingle with outstanding lawyers, and a place where the best lawyers and staff members can do their best work.
So Jason Honigman, when he put Honigman together, had certain strong feelings about what the firm ought to be. It ought to be the best place for the best lawyers to work. And he succeeded in that.
The firm has always been known for the quality of its lawyers. We take great pride in our legal skills. We take great pride in our ability to assist clients and client service.
It's given me a sense of pride to see our attorneys who are often on deals with the coastal firms, New York, San Francisco, and they're able to hold their own because of the training they've gotten here at Honigman.
Our value proposition is really we want to make sure that we're giving good client service. We want to make sure that we have that communication and collaboration, and that we're really not just our clients' lawyers, but their partners. We're meeting their business goals, and we can make sure that we are on the same page and can give them value that they may not otherwise get at other firms.
When you go back and look at the founders of the firm, which was Jason Honigman, Mr. Miller, Alan E. Schwartz, and also Avron Cohn, what is unique about all this is the vision and the philosophy of the firm has not changed over the years. To have a strong law firm and always to be number one.
The Honigman firm was formed in the late 40s. In the late 40s, a lot of the discrimination that is gone now from how people choose doctors, lawyers, accountants, and whatnot still existed. So even 20 years later, when I came in 1968, if you were a Jewish kid graduating from the Harvard Law School, you still couldn't go to most of the firms in Detroit. It was just starting to change. And in the 40s, that was even more so. So the clientele of the firm became largely Jewish retailers and real estate developers. And the firm's composition was largely Jewish. So we had very successful, largely entrepreneurial type clients. We didn't have banks, we didn't have insurance companies, we didn't have automobile companies. And it formed the backdrop for the firm having a very strong, to this day, family business, real estate backdrop.
I started with the firm when the founders were practically the entire firm. Alan E. Schwartz, at the luncheon which I was recruited, at which Honigman and Miller were also sitting there, said to me that we're going to grow this law firm and become the prominent law firm in the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan, and we're going to become the go-to place. We will be assisting the community and the business interests and the municipal interests.
I would say that this firm that we're creating a history for wouldn't be here if it weren't for Jack Miller. Honigman was a giant legal scholar. Alan was an exacting, hard-driving businessman who decided he wanted to create an institution, which Honigman has become almost solely because of Alan and his drive. But Jack Miller was the glue of this law firm. I mean, it was really a hard place to work for a young person, and Jack was good and kind and kept people light, and when somebody was bruised, he would put the ointment on the bruise. And I think he really created the warmth in the law firm that enabled it to couple brilliance and great client service and hard work in an atmosphere in which people could be happy.
We learned directly from Honigman, Miller, and Schwartz. And though it wasn't sink or swim, it was swim. They gave you a lot of responsibility. They helped you along the way, but you were expected to put all the pieces in place.
Thinking about my coming to this firm, I'd like to share that one of the persons that had an important role in the business community was Alan E. Schwartz. But the part of his work that I admired is he had helped attend and sponsor conferences that talked about the role of women in leadership in Detroit. And that is part of what attracted me to the firm.
Alan E. and David Page and some of those guys were the pioneers. And the pioneers made sure that those of us who came later as the settlers had reasonable opportunities to participate in the entire fabric of this region.
With some notable cases in early years, Honigman quickly became a respected firm with groundbreaking case law work and a voice at the table in crafting state court rules.
Early on, Jason Honigman argued the Green Giant and Deep Rock cases in the Supreme Court. Those are both famous cases. He wrote the Michigan court rules, so we had some firm milestones early on. We started in the 70s and 80s to become a more mainstream firm and to start to get institutional work.
I started at General Motors in 1979, and right from the beginning, Honigman was our go-to firm.
Well, we've had over a 50-year relationship with Honeyman. They're wonderful strategists, they're deep subject matter experts, they're great counselors.
Real estate was a huge opportunity to expand in a growing commercial sector. Lawyers work to expertly structure the Umbrella Partnership Real Estate Investment Trust, or UPREIT, for client Taubman Centers.
Well, the UPREIT was the key to unlocking private real estate into the public capital markets because it dealt with the deep tax basis issues that were very complicated and not been solved previously in selling real estate and creating a public vehicle. So the UPREIT really was the key. The Honeyman team really led the way to making it happen.
My early business in this community was as a McDonald's owner. Once I ventured into, quote, automotive supply, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, the firm has been the glue. They've been the visionary people that I could consult with and counsel with.
One thing the Honigman lawyers do very well is they learn about their clients' businesses. You can't be forward-looking and understand where things are likely to go if you don't know what the client's business is, what its needs are.
My milestone is it was 1984, and it was when the firm took Highland Appliance public. Highland Appliance, if you've lived in Michigan long enough, was a very large appliance retail chain. It was actually the second largest in the United States. So I was thrust in as in true Honigman fashion, a little bit over my head for what was a very, very complicated transaction. And it went, and it succeeded, and we represented Highland for a long time, and that really opened a lot of doors for me professionally within the firm, outside the firm, that had I not had opened, I think life would have been different.
As the Honigman name became more well-known for outstanding legal counsel, larger global clients such as General Motors engaged the firm's services.
And the Renaissance Center was such an exciting transaction. It goes back to 1996 now, so more than 20 years ago. And we kind of were sneaking around trying to buy it, and the Honigman guys were with us on that. They were our partner throughout all of that. And so we dealt with everybody from the incentive people to the environmental people to the business people, and again, the leadership from Alan Schwartz and the team was a key part of it as well.
I've been chairman of the board here at the DIA for 16 years. One of the great things I'll remember are the people that I've been able to meet and develop relationships with. And I would certainly put very high at the top of that list would be the members of the Honigman firm who have been representing the DIA for maybe more than 40 years. I was very, very fortunate to benefit from the judgment, if you will, of key members of the firm, from the discovery of asbestos in the museum in 2007, when we were just about to open the DIA, reopen, the financial crisis that followed, where we laid off a third of our staff, the cessation of funding from the state of Michigan and the city of Detroit. Then, of course, we went into the regional millage in 2012.
Here you win the millage, right? I mean, it was right. The DIA was ecstatic because they had gotten a public vote of confidence. 3 counties, voters in 3 counties voted to tax themselves to help support the Detroit Institute of Arts.
The Honigman team stepped up, and none of us will ever forget the victory lap we took on August 7th, 2012, when that all came to fruition.
And that was very short-lived. That win was very short-lived in the sense that just a very short period of time later, here were people talking about auctioning off the art in order to pay the liabilities in the Detroit bankruptcy. So you go from euphoria to, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I think that Honigman was a quiet counsel and a big behind-the-scenes force in all that with Gene Gargaro.
Honigman Miller, especially Alan Schwartz, David Page, were all hugely invested in the community. And they all made it clear that it wasn't a matter of career development or anything else, and you shouldn't get involved in the community just because you thought it somehow help your legal career. You should do it only if you felt the desire and the urge to do so. And maybe it's something in the water here, because I think very proudly we are, and always have been, much more connected to the community, both its civic institutions and its religious institutions, than any other firm in Detroit.
This firm has always encouraged their attorneys to do things in the public interest. One anecdote was, at one point in a gubernatorial race, Avern Cohn was the finance chairman for the Democratic candidate, and Alan E. Schwartz was the finance chairman for the Republican candidate for governor. And they had return addresses for people who were contributing, 2290 First National Building, which has always been the office here. And one reporter found out that contributions were coming to this address for both the Republican and the Democratic candidates, and wanted to find out what it was about. It happened to be very coincidental. It's just that these were where the finance chairmen were located.
They're also really behind the scenes in a lot of civic and nonprofit engagements. And David Page, for example, one of their the late David Page, was a real force behind the Riverfront Conservancy.
Well, we started on the Conservancy probably in 2002, and initially it was just a few slides, sort of a PowerPoint. We wanted to create this beautiful waterfront. Significant complexity with that. All kinds of different issues from environmental to development issues to construction contracts to everything in between. We went and talked to David. We went and talked to the Kresge Foundation, and then now it's been 16 years since we pulled it together. And there are people that can look at a situation. They can look at a beaten up old riverfront, and they can say, hey, this could look a lot different. The key to a firm like Honigman is they have people that can help you create the vision, and then they can help just drive it every day through execution to make sure that it's everything that you'd hoped for and more.
Honigman has become an institution within the broader Detroit community. David Fulton, that now runs it today, has really continued the great traditions of the firm, deeply involved in the community with tremendous respect at the highest levels of the business leadership of this community. I know that Honigman is well regarded and well respected for the future.
All through my career here, they've always had a vision and outstanding leadership.
We've always been a family business. We've been run like a family business, and from the beginning, we're run for future generations.
The unique proposition that Honigman offers to junior attorneys, and at the beginning, 5 to 10 years of their careers, is the ability to have direct client contact very, very soon.
When I came here, I wanted the kind of opportunity that the firm afforded to chart your own path. If I had something to contribute, to feel it would be recognized both in terms of leadership opportunities as well as compensation.
As my career grew and I became first chair on major transactions and for major clients, I really enjoyed mentoring, bringing lawyers up in the firm and teaching them what I had learned and encouraging them to learn. There's nothing that Honigman or Miller or Page or Binko or now us like more than seeing a next generation lawyer with a client.
We have enormously talented lawyers and staff at the firm. And so I really look at careers as a work of art. And we do everything we can to sculpt those careers to help people develop their potential to the maximum amount. We have practice-specific trainings in each field, but also firm-wide training. We also look beyond just the technical, legal development of skills to the people holistically. I'm very focused on the general well-being of our attorneys and our staff.
We're a great law firm. We're a good place to be, and we're also making sure that you can succeed on an individual level. We make sure that our employees are trained. We make sure that they have the ability to be collaborative and heard, and we also make sure that they are in an environment that they want to be in. A lot of our employees elevate to different positions, they are promoted, and really encourage them to help us decide, is there an area that we need to be better at? Is there innovation that we can create?
Innovations as it relates to development, we were struggling in particular with development of minority lawyers, and in some cases, women lawyers.
The Attorney Development and Recruitment Department came to be in 2011. It was a direct result of a commissioned diversity assessment. The structure that we've put into place with professional development has been a strong recruitment tool.
Honigman has given really concerted thought into how we recruit diverse and women attorneys and making sure that we're in an environment where they can flourish. As summer associates, we make sure that they have opportunities to get mentors, that they have opportunities for different assignments, and that they can really see that this is a welcoming environment for everyone.
The investment we make in our people is one of the largest investments of this business. And when we look at the business over a period of time, the success of the business has to be based on the people.
Well, one thing that'll never change is we're going to hire the best lawyers. We're going to hire the best and smartest lawyers, whether it's laterally from other firms or whether it's out of law school. But we're hiring more and more non-lawyers, project managers, people who come out of the construction industry, people who are used to managing technology experts, information management, pricing people. We're also hiring untraditional lawyers. We're hiring staff lawyers.
I encourage young people in business especially to always pay the price for excellent professionals. If I had not had, in this case, your firm, I don't think we would have been able to weather some of the storms that we weathered. But more importantly, I'm not sure if without their counsel, we could have diversified our firm and we could have gotten into different aspects of manufacturing and non-automotive.
Coming out of law school in 1980, I had a lot of options. I probably could have worked for any law firm in the country. I chose Honigman. I have never for a day regretted that choice. That's been the experience I hoped for, multiplied by who knows what. I've made great friendships here, great relationships. Being asked to lead the firm is a remarkable professional accomplishment to me. It humbles me, it flatters me, and being around this collective genius that we have and being a steward for the next generation of the Honigman family is something that's deeply meaningful, and I think my partners would say the same thing about their careers.